Hello, Tech Talk. This is Jim Malone. I'm coming to you from Dallas Trading Floor, sort of live from a remote location here in Dallas. And I'm also on Periscope, pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor, all one word. And I'm also broadcasting on YouTube. So here we are today. It is the 29th episode of Dallas Trading Floor, April 21st. 2020. Real interesting day today. The market is down significantly. It looks as if we're finally seeing a reversal on the spider. It has moved down. I have taken several short positions, which I did cover right before coming onto the show, and I'll have that for you a little bit later. Real interesting day. I think that we're going to start to see a bounce off of the 40-day, the 50-day moving average, and I have a chart for you on that as well on Periscope and on YouTube. If you want to take a look at the charts that I'm showing, you basically need to just go over to Periscope, which is pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor, all one word. So that will just kick it off, and I will basically start with basically talking about how the market and the price of oil really has changed the whole equation. It's really getting very serious. They actually had one of the Saudi oil ministers on today, and I don't think that the Saudis realize that there's no demand in the market, and the big oil ETF, the USO, it's on the hook for some forward contracts, and basically the cash prices now are less than $1. I mean, less. I mean, can you believe it? There's a negative price on oil, but it's the forward cash price that we're talking about. It's just really, really interesting. The market is going down today. I kind of figured this was going to happen. I was a little bit early, I think, and I went short this morning. I did close my shorts right before coming on the air. I made a nice little profit, almost $500. I was going to go long on Tesla. I canceled that. Tesla is moving back to the 50-day moving average as well. So I think we have begun the descent down. I believe, I believe that we are going to move down. We're going to move lower, and it's just one of those things. There is money to be made in downturns. I just want you to know, right now I've been shorting the very directionally. I've been shorting the indexes like the diamond. I shorted the diamond yesterday. I made almost nothing, basically $7. Today, much better. I'm over about $500 today so far. What's really leading us down is that there's weakness in the Qs. There's weakness in the Nasdaq 100. It's totally understandable. I mean, IBM reported it didn't quite make its number. Did very well in under the circumstances, but it didn't quite. You're like, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I wish I was looking better. I could lose a few pounds. That's for sure. I've been here eating all this good home cooking, making my own bread, the whole 9 yards. Kind of a weird situation for me, but hey, it's fun. It's awful fun. But again, we're moving into a very market basically move to a different level at this point. I just wanted to show you, believe it or not, the market is still in a confirmed uptrend. I mean, I know that's incredible. I know that's incredible, but it is a confirmed uptrend. It has not adjusted totally like it will. I believe we're going to move much lower. But as you can see, I don't know if you can see the chart. Again, it's on PSCP-TV/Dallas Trading Floor, and that's where I'm actually simulcasting on there. But it shows the Nasdaq, and it's down about at when this picture was taken, it was down about 1.8%. It's actually moved a little bit lower than that. All the major indexes are down. S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the volume is is down just slightly, but the real interesting thing here is the Nasdaq 100. The volume is up, and the index is down. So I think we're going to be beginning to bounce off of the line. Okay, can't hear me. Sorry about that. Let me see if I can get that better. Is that better? Does that come in better there a little bit? Yeah, he's on Periscope. Restart till top. Okay, let me see if I can. I'm gonna be going off TikTok just for a second here. I'm gonna come back on. Thanks, man, and I'll be right back. Sorry about this. Sometimes there's technical difficulties. All right, so let me restart. So hopefully we're going to come up here in just as, there we go, super. I think we're back online, and hopefully the audio is better. Sorry about that. Sometimes I have difficulty with the feed. So again, I am simulcasting on Periscope, pscp.tv/ have definitely shorted the market, and it moved down. It's probably trending up a little bit. I'm going to take a look at one of my screens here. Typically I make money, so at least for right now. Yeah, it's continuing to trend. I basically covered at 270, 275. It's up a little bit from that. Not surprising. That's kind of how you play it. The way I typically play something like this is, if the momentum is right, I start out with a position of 100, and then if it continues in my favor, I will put in another 100, and then if it continues again, I will put in another 100. Now, if it moves against me, of course, I close my positions, and then what I do is I create a squeeze by setting a limit order to buy to cover, and then I just basically sit that down there, and I sort of move it relative to how it's trading, so that I can get the extra little bit out there, and that's usually good for 100 or 200 bucks on the downside when you're covering. Something is not right for TikTok today. Wow, sorry about that. Let me try to restart TikTok. Sorry about this. Let me try again. I'll be right back from you. All right. Trying to go live again on TikTok. Let's see what happens here and see if we come back up. Sorry about this. We may be having, if you can see, I just wanted to show you basically this chart. The NASDAQ volume is up significantly. I think we're going to move lower on the NASDAQ. That's basically the situation that I think we're looking at here. We're going to be moving lower probably throughout the day, and we may do a new close. Okay, so on the talk, excellent. Works for me now. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Sorry about the technical difficulties on TikTok. Again, if you want to see the charts, and you can flip over to Periscope, it seems to be technically very stable. pscp.tv/ Dallas Trading Floor, and this is number 29, because it does archive some of the other ones that I put up there. But it's an easy way to get on there and see what's up. Now I'm going to take some of the comments. Let's see. This is a good one here. Let me just kind of look at here. You think would oil companies like XLM be a good stock to invest in right now for the long term? You know what? I don't think you should be in any of the oils right now. It's just too weird. The Texas Railroad, I would hold off on investing in ExxonMobil. I know I've recommended it before. It's a great company, and it may come back on the other side as being tremendous. But right now, I think you're going to wait. It may actually go lower. You may actually be able to pick it up for a lower price It is a quality company. BP is also a quality company. You might want to look at this. These companies are going to survive, but they may actually go lower. I mean, it is just a weird market in oil right now. The Texas Railroad Commission is going to meet, and I believe they're going to start allocating production in the United States, which is something that's happened in about 100 years. So it's just a weird market, but you definitely want to watch list that. I think that oil overall, we're not going to get rid of oil. Oil is just one of those things out there that's going to happen. I just want to move over here to the next one. Hey man, GSP Baxter, thanks. Sorry about TikTok. I'm sorry we're having a little bit of technical issues. I restarted 3 times, so hopefully now now we're gonna do better that up. And thanks for watching. I so appreciate it, everybody here. So hopefully we're gonna make some money today, because we're coming into a period now where the shorting is going to be good. As again, I closed my shorts today, but I think by the way, this is Bhanuk Hey from listening on YouTube. Thanks, man, for taking a look at me. So appreciate it. Hopefully here within about a week, I'm going to have a real URL for YouTube. It'll be a lot easier to search me down. The market, I believe, is going down. I think it is going to go lower. Again, it's bounced off of that 50-day moving average. The thing to really look at here is the spider. Again, I actively shorted the spider this morning, and then I covered right before coming in. But because there's downward pressure on that, I believe that we're going to go lower, and I think we're going to begin the descent. Now, you'll know, I think, when we hit the bottom of this, because the price on the spider will touch or test the 218 low that it made on March 23rd. And that's a really important number, I believe. Buy oil since all ship. No, don't buy oil. I know this is really tempting. Now, the president wanted to buy some oil for the strategic petroleum reserve, but and I think that's a good buy. But I just don't think you're going to make any money buying it now, because I'm afraid it's going to go lower before it goes higher. So there's really not a lot to short in the oil sector. This is the problem when you're shorting. It has to be from a relatively high level coming down. I think better shorts are still going to be in the leisure and travel area, like in companies like Macy's, and I don't think they're listed right now, but it looks like Neiman Marcus is going to go major bankruptcies here, but there's also going to be some weak companies. I'm trying to put together a list of good shorting candidates, ones that have high debt. Now, you would think with these rock solid low interest rates that, now's the time to borrow. Now is the most dangerous time to borrow in any market cycle, because the problem is cash flow. The problem is cash flow. I'm going to be looking for companies that have high debt loads, and those are the real candidates to really collapse in terms of price. You can't totally. It's not totally. You can't totally depend on this, because sometimes there's things that happen with market manipulation. For instance, Boeing, which is the largest exporter of the United States, looks like it's going to get a government bailout, but I don't think it can maintain the 150 range in terms of price. I think it's going to move lower. I think it's potentially a very good short. I also think certain other companies that have a lot of cash on their balance sheet might be good shorts too, but they're a little bit harder. Apple, for instance, isn't going to have the sales next year that it has currently, so you're going to see some movement down there as well. Okay, cool. I just bringing up another question. Switch for overprotected. Thanks, Fang Lai. Appreciate it so much. Like your car there, man. That's a cool car. I'd love to have one like that. I'm also going to be looking to buy things. This is a good time to get into cash if you have the ability. Because you're going to see you're going to see very interesting. You're going to see very up. It's the only one that I'm really looking at right now. It's a play on cybersecurity, which I think is going to be a big deal during this time. It's Fortinet. I've played it before. It's good. It's moving above its moving average here. I don't know if you can see this, but let me just show you on the screen here. See if you can see it. You see how this is the 50-day moving average? I'm just going to kind of show you this on the pointer there. 50-day moving average. It's significantly above, and it's got good support in here. This is also 99 out of 99 a composite, but most importantly is it has this tremendous what they call cup and handle pattern. This is a very, very, very bullish pattern. If you're going to be long, you want to be long on these kind of stocks that have this cup and handle format, because that is where you're going to see the best movement. Again, I am not long anything right now. I closed my short positions this morning, and I'm looking to go long, but I'm also very, very cautious right now. So it's just one of those things. You just got to be super cautious, but there's money to be made. And oh yeah, definitely the market is headed down. So let's see, take another question here. I love this feature, so hopefully it's really nice for me. Will it rally tomorrow? By the way, love your avatar there. I think that it may. I don't think it's going to rally hard tomorrow, but I think it's going to move up a little bit, and then I think it's going to continue the descent, because we are now breaking to the low, and this is kind of what I've been talking about for a long time. We're going to be moving off of this 50-day moving average. So hopefully I can show you this really quickly if I can get the cursor to move over there. There we go. Okay. Let's see if I can put it back to the spider. All right. Let's see if I can pull it. Let me see if I can pull up the spider. Yeah, there we go. Okay. As you'll notice on this, and if you're watching on Periscope, you can see this. You see this line here. This is the 50-day moving average. This was our big drop off here. This is the low here. This is the test of the low. This price right here is 218. It's moved all the way back up, but it's hitting resistance at this line. It's going to bounce off of this line, and I believe it could go as low as maybe even 220, maybe even retest. But it's going to go back down to this area. So I think we're going to see, at least for the next few trading sessions, I think we're going to either see we're not going to see it move just significantly higher. I think we're going to be in a little bit of a correction move to the downside now. So that's kind of where I'm looking. Let's see. Oh, when you say spider, okay, I apologize. Thank you for bringing this up. The symbol for the spider is SPY, but it is SPDR. That's correct. This is the reason I keep harping on this particular ETF. Is it's the largest traded ETF in the world. It's worth about, I think, 220 or 230 billion. It is a tremendous amount, but it tends to move in sympathy to the market. So if you're going to get an idea of where the market is going to trade, look at the futures on the overnights, and then you can trade the SPY directionally like I do. And this morning, of course, it moved down. Initially, it made a head fake to the up. I closed my position, and then it started to move down, and then I shorted into the 11 o'clock hour. Now, typically, in terms of a downward movement, I have found over the years that the greatest movement to the downside typically occurs in the first 2 hours of trading, from about 9:30 till about 11:30 or so. That tends to be the biggest, and then it tends to back off of that a little bit. It is not always the case, but this is a good way that you can pick up some money. And that's part of the reason I broadcast at 11, because that is a good time. That's a good time to be in the market, at least to the downside. So that's kind of the thing there. So let me just go for a few more other slides here, and then I'll start to take some questions. I want to show you this NASDAQ as well. The QQQ, this is the NASDAQ 100. Basically what this is this the ETF that covers the 100 largest stocks. The NASDAQ 100 is having a lot of trouble today. Again, it's moving back, and I don't know if you can see this online, but it is moving back to this line here, and this is the 50-day moving average. As you can see, it moved beyond that a little bit, and then now it's starting to crash into this line. If this if the QQQ moves lower than the 50-day moving average, I think we're looking at potentially a reversal, and I think we're going to move. The market is going to move down if that is the case at the end of the day. So I'm watching the Qs very, very closely to see what the price action will be on that, and to see if we're going to be in shorting. Now, I was going to open a position on Tesla. I was waiting to open a position on Tesla. Yes, last week what I did is I purchased 100 shares of Tesla for $7.30, and then I sold a covered call, which is a call at $7.30, the same price, for about 28 a share, and the price went above that. I was exercised for a very good trade. As you can see, though, now Tesla is starting to 644.79. I think that we're going to start at least a bear period when we're going to give back some of these gains that this is just as of a few minutes ago. It's down 8%. This is very telling. I think that we're starting to see a lot of the big funds move out of what they've been in, and when the market moves up, people they say, oh, we're out of the bear market, all that stuff, and basically selling retail investors go long. This is not a market to be long in. I believe there's only two positions that you can really effectively be in this market, and one is cash, and the other one is short. So this gives you an idea of where I shorted today, the prices, and then my cover, and I didn't have it on here because I made this right before I covered, was 272.75. What I'm going to try to do, by the way, if anybody's interested in this, oh yeah, okay, I'll comment on Tesla again here really quick. Thanks for that. I really love this this thing where I can show you the questions on the screen, because it really helps me out in terms of being more interactive with everybody. Let me go back to the Tesla slide, and I want to show you these things. I think Tesla is going to firm. Yeah, here we are. We're back on the Tesla slide. I believe Tesla is going to move below this line here. Now, this line, the 50-day moving average, is 644.79. I think that it's going to firm up right about this line. So I think we're going to see a down 2 or 3 down days, and then possibly it firming up by the end of the week. But I believe that it's going to come right to this line, on this 50-day moving average line, and I believe that we're going to see it drop about another, I would say about another $40 down to about 644. I think it's probably potentially a buy at that range, but as you can see, we don't have a lot of commitment here because there's not as much. There's a lot of people shorting it, and so I do believe, though, that we could see a very, very severe movement to the upside on Tesla, because here's the thing that happens with Tesla. 20% of the float typically is short, and so what happens is that when there's a cover, it can be severe, and you can get these blow off tops. I mean, I was trading it from December into January into February, and that's when I made probably my best movements, was when we had these short covers, and I was able to go long and then use my stop losses to sell out at the inflated prices, because people were having to cover their shorts. It's Tesla is a very dangerous stock to short, because it has down to that below the 50-day moving average, or about 644. But I do think that long term, it's a great company, and they're going to announce their earnings on the 29th, and I'm really, really looking forward to that, because that's gonna give direction to the IQ. Let me take a quick look at IQ on my other screen here. IQ, and unfortunately, this is not going to appear. Okay, this is the 18. I don't even know. This is an interesting one. It's down today significantly. 18. I think this one is sinking. I don't think I'd be on this long. It might be a good short candidate, but I don't think I'd want to be on this one long right now. Let's give you that. Okay, so let's see if I can come back to there. Okay, so all right, well, fantastic. Let me take another question here. Show. Okay, let's plus $100. Okay. Okay, I was gonna stop loss triggered on. Okay, yeah, but I know it seems like in the short term that you think you've lost money, but believe me, I think it may be going lower. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Once you, and here's the thing in your trading, you can always come back into a position, but you should really try to manage your, if the stock is moving against you, you should close and take the loss very quickly. That's what I do. I had this situation this morning where I entered a short on the spider. It moved against me. I only let it go 1% out. I closed it. I had $100 loss at the beginning of the morning, and then as it moved the correct way, then I shorted again, and then I put my stop loss at the low of where it had been the trading range, and then I just moved it up slightly, and then as it came down and tested that low, it sold me out. So that's you really that your money management on your shorting on your stop losses can make the difference between basically blowing out your numbers or basically having careful. Do you think it would be no? Okay, I want to be very clear about this, Seth. Thank you so much for the comment on Periscope. I really appreciate you coming and if you're on Periscope, please like me on this because I'm trying to get bigger on this platform because it has so many technical capabilities that I love for live. I love TikTok better, but in terms of for short videos, but Periscope is great because it has these technical capabilities that even I can use, so it's great. I don't hold Tesla into earnings. What I'm saying, don't hold it beyond earnings. So the earnings are on the 29th, so you probably want to liquidate your position on the 28th or the 29th before earnings. Don't carry it through earnings because you can see these wicked reversals. I mean, it could literally lose 100 points because it's very volatile stock. So it also could go the other way too. But it's a very dangerous. It's very dangerous to hold it through earnings. That's just what I'm trying to say. I would sell it before earnings, and then if the action is right on the stock, and I'm a big fan of Tesla, then re-enter the position. It's gotten so inexpensive to liquidate and re-enter positions, and it's so liquid that I think you're just better off doing that. Don't take the loss. Cut your losses extremely short, and then let your winners run. But one thing is, holding a stock through earnings is not a good strategy, especially in this market. So that's my my opinion on that. Another question here: do you expect positive results? I do, actually. I do expect positive results, but here's the thing: IBM. Well, I thought the results on IBM were going to be positive. Well, they were not bad, but the stock still suffered. So this is a punishing market. If you're missing in this market, the shorts are looking for anything to push the price down. So I do think that the numbers are going to be good. I do think the numbers are going to be good, but the question is, are they going to be good enough? And here's the deal. At the beginning of the year, Tesla was looking at potentially selling as many as 500,000 vehicles worldwide. I don't think they're going to be able to maintain that just because of the shutdowns. The California plant is not producing right now, so it's going to be very difficult for them to maintain that. But I think if they maintain in the 480,000 range or so, I think they're going to be okay. But again, I don't want to hold it through earnings. Be very careful there. Just be very, very careful. Let me see on TikTok. What platform can you see the charts? Right now, I am broadcasting on Periscope and also on YouTube. You can use both of those. If you have the access to YouTube, just go to YouTube and then just type in there Dallas Trading Floor, and it's show number 29. Pretty soon I will have a URL that I can broadcast on that, but right now I don't. I'm also on Periscope, and Periscope has been very good for me. Technically it seems doesn't have the bandwidth limitations that I have on other platforms. That's pscp.tv/Bhanuk Dallas trading floor. So I really I like that platform. Thanks, man, for taking a look on there. Let me see if I have some other questions on Twitter. I mean, not on Twitter. Okay, on which platform? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, let's see. Is it a good time to start buying? No, 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 no. Please don't buy the USO right now. Please don't buy the USO. I think that you may see it go even lower. They're here's the problem with the USO. I don't know if you know this, but they're on the hook to buy oil at. They basically are going to have to honor their contracts, and if they do, they're going to be paying negative prices for the oil because there's no place to store it right now. Don't buy the USO. It may actually go to zero, and then recapitalize. It's not going to maintain like that forever, but it's the kind of thing where you want to be just super careful. Don't buy it. It's just weird. It's just a weird one. Please don't be in that one, because even though it does look good, and even though people are saying, I just think that you could be in a real lot of hurt. Wait until it bottoms, wait until it moves, and then start, then go into it. How about Oxy? Oxy is a potential, I don't think it's a bankruptcy, but it's damn close. And it's going to be purchased by somebody else. Warren Buffett, the idiot CEO of Occidental, I'm sorry to be like that. She went and she borrowed money from Warren Buffett at like 13% right before this thing. They're dead. They're dead men walking. I mean, they're in real trouble. And you don't want to be in the problem with Occidental Petroleum. They don't have a strong enough balance sheet. They're going to be acquired by another company. Now, if they announce a merger, Carl Icahn is in there, and he may force a merger with somebody stronger like a BP or somebody like that. But right now, no. Again, it's just too friggin' dangerous to be in it. How many think that? In terms of what the downward pressure is going to be on the market, but I do believe going into earnings season, we are going to see it test. And the first test is, I think you're going to see in the next week or two, people are, on CNBC, they're going to be wringing their hands. They're going to say, wow, we can't believe it. It's continuing to go down. What's the deal? Well, it's going to retest the low. And that we're retesting the low because if you watch the spider, that's the SPY. It's going to come down near to that 218, 220 price. That's when I think it's going to start moving higher again. But I think for right now, probably for the next month or so, I think we're going to be either sideways or down. And right now we're down about 11% off of the all-time highs. I don't think that can be maintained. If we go beyond 20%, that's a correction. That's a bear market. We're not technically in a bear market now. The market actually says that we're in an upward trend, but I just don't think so. I think we're starting to see earnings come in. I think we're going to start to see the market go lower. My opinion, of course. TVX is doing its thing. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, we're back to the point where the TVX is moving. Yeah, it's moving up. Okay. Why is the TVX moving up? Well, the TVX is telling us, and the thing about the TVX is it's a signal. It's telling us that the worst is not in. We have not gone. We have not gone to the worst yet. We're going to go lower, unfortunately. Any oil stock recommendations for May? I'll wait till May. I think you wait till May. I think you wait till May. I really want to buy oil stocks, but I just think at this price, it's not like shopping at Macy's, man. Oh, and by the way, Macy's is probably going to go under too. It's not like shopping at Macy's. The problem is you can buy these bargains, and then they can go even lower. So be very, very, very careful. If you're going to buy anything at all, you want to look at the absolute biggest and the absolute majors, like your Chevrons, like your BPs. Let me see what BP is trading for right now. BP is up today. I actually like BP. I think that potentially they may be a big beneficiary of problems in the oil patch because they have the capital to buy companies like Occidental. And I think that's what's going to happen. They're trading at 21.85 right now, which actually is not bad. Their low is 15.51. This is what I think you want to put on your watch list is BP. One of my favorites, actually, in that space. So there you go. See, small caps don't seem to move as much as other indices. It's more, yeah. Part of the thing about the reason that they're not moving, small caps are not moving, is because what's happening right now in the market is everybody is trying to pile into the very biggest of the big stocks. They're trying to be, they're trying to move into these huge stocks like like your Amazons and stocks like that. And the problem is it's just to the point where it's just the point where it's very, very difficult to be in the small caps because they just don't have the support. I do believe, though, we're going to see a movement away from a lot of these big caps eventually, but that's not going to happen for at least another month or two. Let's see. Grab the SPY puts yesterday. Nice. And around 285. Tempted to sell. Thoughts? I think if you got puts right now, you might want to hold on to them. I think that I think that's a really, really good way to short the market, man. I think you did great. I think you did great on that. If you, depending on the stomach part, I would hold them probably till Thursday or Friday. I think we're going to see a movement to the downside tomorrow. I closed my shorts, but then again, I didn't purchase puts. I think that you might want to hold them because I do see the spider moving down below the 270 by the end of the week. I think that it will. And if it does, then you're going to have a very nice gain on your puts. So I think you probably want to just monitor it, but keep it going. Here's one thing. Here's a rule. If you've got really nice gains like that, you might want to take 50% off the table. So you're playing with the house's money. This is really important. Here's the thing. Figure out what your break even is. Sell enough to get to your break even, and then ride probably till the end of the week. I think that's going to be very good. You don't want to let your I think it's going to run lower. I think the SPY is going to run lower. I think you make very good money, but again, I think you should need to get your capital out of there. Protect your capital at all costs. That's what I always do, and then let your profits run. So you might want to look at possibly lowering your position if you've got a good gain here. Take your capital out, and then you're working with gain, and that's a great way to play it. XOP, stay up. Thoughts? No, I don't think it will. I don't think that the spider. By the way, everybody, XOP is the spider that covers the oil sector, the oil and petroleum sector. It's up a little bit today. I can't really get into that. I do think it's going to reverse again down. So this one might be a short actually, but not today. Okay. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. I hope you make some serious money on that because you definitely deserve it. There's money to be made. Again, in this kind of market, I don't think we're in a pure bear market yet because of the way this thing has traded up over the last few weeks. But I think we're entering a phase now where we might see a turn. And in the turn, if we do have that, we're going to move to the downside. And when you're moving to the downside, you want to be very careful about your cash allocation. Keep your cash, stay in cash as much as you can, and then really go short or buy puts. That's just a tremendous way to go. With puts. Also, there are the shorting ETFs that I want to, eliminate here. Everybody's, I've heard about them, but I still think they're very valid. One is the SQQQ. It's up strongly today. I don't know if I would get, because we're late in the day, I don't know if it's good to enter it right now, but it's 1450 approximately. It's off of its low. I think you're going to see some nice movement in the SQQQ. But here's the thing about the SQQQ. It's a little bit like a hot potato. It moves very quickly, but I do believe we're going to see it move up much higher than it's been. It's been way down because the market's been going up, but I think it could go as high as 30. And so that might be a way, if you don't have the capability to shorten your account, you don't have the level 3 capability, and you don't necessarily want to buy by puts. You might want to go long on the SQQQ, or also in the market. Has been up until this time. It's been in the Dow, but now today it's in the Q. And so, if you're getting a loss position, it's easier to cover without incurring much loss. So that's kind of the way I like it. Way I like it to go on that. Let me see. I've got some more comments here. Let's go onto the comments page again. Does that? All right. Okay, let's wanted to show a comment by a Feng Lai. It'll come up here hopefully in a second. There we go. All right. Okay, got stopped out of the SQQQ at 1440. Okay, well, okay, okay. Well, here's the thing. It's no bad deal to get stopped out. Okay. I get stopped out all the time. The reason I use stops is because I don't like to have losses run against me. I like to keep my losses very tight. And so it's not necessarily, here's the thing. Even if you get stopped out of it, if it changes direction, you can just think that just because you've stopped out, you can never buy the stock again. It's off your list. Don't think that way, because I'm many times I'm wrong on my entries into things, and then it'll move around. So don't just bury your pride a little bit. I know I have trouble with that myself. I'm like, man, I thought I had it right, but I was wrong. And then just do the stop, and then if it moves, then re-enter the position, because you can go in and out of position. Today with zero commissions, you're really not going to eat up a lot of your trading budget with commissions. I mean, you're paying almost nothing. So it can be a really, you can make money doing it that way. So just a great thing to say. I say that because I didn't use it in the past. Listening to you, I've started using things. Okay, well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I know that stops are really, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do the stop loss? Because what if you want to get? Literally, I have been trading where it's so volatile. I've got to go to the bathroom. I didn't have my stop loss on me, and then I came back and I'm like $200, $300 down. I'm like, holy mackerel! I mean, that was an expensive dump. Sorry, I didn't put it like that. So that's why I put the stop losses on it, so that because you're not going to be watching everything at all times. Like it might go against you. So that's why I always use stops, and that's how I sell too. I will put the stop below where I want it to, then I'll move it up, and then I will get that extra little bit out if I'm closing a position. So that's a good way to go, I think. What do you think about Netflix and Microsoft? Wow. Netflix is just on an absolute tear. And, for tomorrow, I'm going to try to find if there's an options play for Netflix. I think it's gotten a little bit ahead of itself, but I wouldn't underestimate this stock. Netflix, by the way, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, I can't remember, it's the stock that's up the most of any stock. I think that it's a potentially really the way to acquire that, I believe, is to buy it and then sell, to sell the options on it. That's how I believe. That's the best way to do it. Tremendous company. Microsoft, again, I've traded Microsoft really heavily for 3 years. It's another one that's a bellwether stock. Now, the only thing about Microsoft is that you have a lot of people just crowding in it to protect their capital. It's down a little bit today. Normally I never buy on weakness. I never buy on dips, but Microsoft is the exception. I believe the trading range for Microsoft is clearly up to about 200. If you can buy it at 165 or 160, it's really worth doing. So let me just see how it's trading today. I haven't been watching it. Okay, it's down significantly, 167. I believe that this is a cup and handle. I believe if it goes to, I'd be a buyer of this if it went down to 160. I would probably be a buyer. It's not there yet. It's about 7 to go. Let's see how it trades tomorrow, but this might be a nice setup to buy on a dip. This is I'm a momentum trader typically, and I don't like to buy on dips because the momentum is going against me. But Microsoft is much more of an investment stock rather than a trading stock, and that's just a way to do it. Let's see. Next question. Stop loss, same thing as a stock market. Okay, very good. Thank you very much. This is a very good question, Seth. Appreciate you bringing this up. Let's see, what's the difference between a stop market and a stop limit? Okay, a stop market is if the price of if the price is met, if the price is met, it will immediately put the stock for sale at the market price. So the next tick. So let's say, for instance, you have a $100 stock, you've bought it at 100 and you set your stop loss at 95. It goes down and it touches 95, but then it ticks up. Well, the minute it touches 95, your stock is going to be put up to sale. So you may end up selling it not quite at 95. It might be 95.5 because that's the next tick, and it may be ticked up. So the stock market will put your stock up to sale, up for sale if that point is touched. That's all it has to do. Is different in that it works the same way as the stock market, with the one exception is when it hits the market price, when it hits the activation price, then it's going to put it up for sale. It's going to offer your stock for sale at a certain price that you have predetermined. So in a fast market, you want to be in the stop market, and in the slower market where you want to preserve your capital, you might want to look at doing the stop limit. And that's for being long. For being short, you can also set those, but you use the buy to cover. So I'm probably getting into too much detail there. Okay. Would have made a killing. Shit. I'm sorry about that. But here's the thing: patience, because let the puck come to you. It's like hockey. Let the puck come to you. There will be opportunities all the time to make. There will be opportunities, absolutely opportunities to make. To make these plays. So just let the puck come to you. That's the main thing. What happens if? What happens to Microsoft? Well, Microsoft will trade in sympathy with the market, but I think that where Microsoft is going to be a buy is if the market bottoms. See, this is the reason I'm basically in cash and I'm short. If the market tests its bottom, which I believe is when the SPY hits about 218, then all the other stocks will basically bottom in sympathy. But when it comes out, when it bounces, that's when you're going to see stocks like Microsoft really outperform. Right now, everybody's in Microsoft. There's a lot of people in it. It's coming down probably a little bit more as the S&P 500 is coming down, as the Nasdaq is coming out. But when it reverses to the upside, that's when you want to sort of add to your position of Microsoft. Let's see. Okay, when is earnings season? Well, it goes on for about a month. Basically, what earnings season is, just so you'll know, there's 4 earnings seasons in the year, and basically, this is when the companies show their quarterly results, like where they now, because of this coronavirus thing, a lot of the companies have removed their guidance. So basically, they typically say to this, we think this, and then they'll announce it on that day. Many companies have withdrawn their guidance because they just don't, because the demand has cratered. By the way, I have this up on the screen too. MVK, and I believe that you're going to see stocks that are going to be weak in the next quarter. One of the ones that I think is a potential short is Facebook. And the reason I think Facebook is a potential short, is not that they don't have viewers. They have tremendous viewer adoption, but Facebook relies on its advertising, and there's just no advertising out there. Everybody has cut back on there. Everybody's at home, but nobody's advertising. This is why the pay services like Netflix are doing so well, and some of the other ones just aren't. The networks are just eating crow. This is the reason why I think you've got to be very careful buying, at least in the short term, buying stocks like Disney that own ABC, because their revenues have fallen significantly. And I know they have their streaming service, and I think this is going to be tremendous. But there are let's see. This is coming from YouTube, man. Thanks. What do you think about Apple? I love Apple as a stock, but I think it's potentially a short because I do not think they're going to be able to make their number. I just think that, you know, in a market when a lot of people don't have work, yeah. And again, they're down today hugely. They're at 267 currently trading. I think look at this to fall. I think this is a short. And I'm putting it on my list. I've been saying this for a while. I think this is a short with a cover at about 204, 205. If this thing shows weakness towards the end of the week, I may go short on this stock only because I don't think it's going to hold up as well, because I think there's going to be a problem with their future sales. It's not going to go out of business anytime soon. So don't think that. It's just going to value more appropriately. Also, this is a stock that Warren Buffett owns heavily. Warren Buffett has been losing billions of dollars in the last few sessions. He is a value investor, but you know, here's the thing: in a market like this, value investing is not the way to go. It's really not a time to be long until we see that bounce off the bottoms, with the, you know, indicated by the SPY being at about 218. It's a time to be. How about CCL, Clear Channel? That's an interesting one. I do kind of like, you know, I do kind of like that business. I do kind of like the cable internet people, because I think everything is moving on to online, of course. And, you know, for as much as we talk about 5G and all that, and which is great, it's not going to replace a cable into the homes. I mean, that's still the number one way that people are going to get their high-speed internet. So, you know, these companies are like annuities. They have a lot of they have a lot of stuff, and I think that's going to continue. I think that's really going to continue with them. So, even, you know, and I never recommend companies like T and Verizon, but I think that, you know, maybe have to look at them. I don't know. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a lot of people. You got to look now to see out there what kinds of things are going to make money in this market going forward, where nobody has any cash. There's going to be lots and lots of unemployment. I mean, I really hate to say horrible, you know, but I think there's going to be a lot of unemployment. And I just think a lot of people are going to be cutting way back on their discretionary spending. So anything discretionary, I would be in. But the internet and the internet services, they aren't discretionary because people are working from home. So real estate and cars and clothes and vacations and all these things, you know, people just are realizing that, hey, you know, I don't have to have them right now, and they're just not going to be as good. So that's the thing you want to be really careful. Miss a nice short opportunity with Shopify. Okay, yeah. Well, that's not surprising that people would jump out of Shopify. Shopify is a great company. I mean, again, this is the thing that you've got to understand. Some of your best shorts are in companies that have done up until now the best. And you think, well, why is that? Well, because what happens is people tend to crowd into the winners, but then when there's a slight reversal, the winners sometimes, you know, the people sell out of them. So this is one of the things you've got to be very, very careful in a market like this, where you have exposure, because even though you might be in the stock of, you know, that was really great, like Shopify, it can reverse on you. Now, is that gonna continue? I don't know, but let me take a quick look at Shopify. This is a great stock. I think it's SHOP, right? SHOP. Okay. Shopify. Okay, great. Yeah, look at that. Nice. Okay. Yeah, this is okay. Here's what's setting up with Shopify. This is a very good call. This is setting up. Okay, there's going to be a reversal. This is going to do what I call a head and shoulders. We're in the first phase of this movement to the downside. This will be a short, By the way, put this on your watch list because this is a short. What's going to happen now is that you're going to see it move down, and then it's going to recover. So it's not time. It's not time. It's going to recover. People are going to come back into the market, and then it's going to go up, and it's going to create a head. So it's going to go down like this. It's going to create a head, and then there's going to be a lower shoulder. And then once that hits that lower shoulder, it's time to short. Not time to short yet, but this is a definite watch list for a short as a stock because you're going to get an opportunity to short this thing again. So thank you very much for that. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm repeating the same thing. Okay, so let me see if I have another question here. How do you get around a wash sale rule? Oh, good question. When you claim losses, if you have traded the same asset in 31 days, basically you don't. You have to take the loss, but there are ways that you can mitigate that problem, the loss sale rule, and for every and one of you is the way you value your stock. If you do this, you might want to go with a it allows you to have a tax treatment of FIFO or LIFO or FIFO. You might want to go with a LIFO treatment, last in, first out, and that might smooth down a little bit. But you're going to get hit with a wash sale. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. It's just going to happen that way because that's how it is. But don't. Here's the thing: in your trading, don't move your trading to fit tax because that's a fool's errand. But don't move to fit tax. Just trade for profit and then let the chips fall where they may because trying to figure out the wash sale rule on individual transactions is very difficult. So my advice to you, and I've been doing this for a while, is to just trade for maximum profit. And you might want to use I typically use FIFO, first in, first out, on my trades because I add to them and I subtract from them. But you might want to use you can change the treatment on that, and you can get around a little bit of tax that way. Question from Periscope. Thanks for looking on Periscope. I think this is great. Is the Fed going to buy oil ETFs like the USO? I don't think so, but I could be so wrong on this. Now, with the spider, I think that there's I've already seen this, the Fed, somebody big intervening in that because that tends to be more held by people that have 401ks, whereas the USO is a little bit more of a trading entity. No, I don't think so. It's not going to be pretty because literally the USO is the biggest buyer of forward contracts for oil, and of course they have no place to put it. So there's an actual negative value right now on oil. And this is a major problem. This is why I think the Texas Railroad Commission is going to step in and it's going to allocate production, at least here in Texas, and possibly throughout the United States. I also think that this country should very much consider potentially putting a duty on Saudi oil because they have treated us shabbily, and I think that I think we need to favor our producers here in the United States because those are real jobs. Those are our neighbors. Those are our friends that are that are in the oil fields. I know personally because I live here in Texas, and even in places like California, it's a major industry, and in Alaska, it's one of the biggest industries. So we need to have that value add in this U.S. So with oil prices so low, I think that we ought to fill the strategic oil reserve, and I also believe that we ought to potentially look at possibly putting tariffs on some of the oils that are imported from countries that aren't really being very cooperative, like Russia and Saudi Arabia. So I don't think it should be across the board because there's other issues there, but I do believe that with the world of washing the oil, we can't sacrifice our great oil industry that creates so many high-paying jobs for so many people just because we want to totally go down the road of total we want to appease the Saudis. So you know, the Saudis are going to have their issues. They can last for a very long time. They can, you know, have oil down, you know, on the floor for years. They have so much of it, and they can literally destroy our own industry. I don't think we need to sacrifice our industry for them. So that's just my opinion. Have any stocks in oil? No, I don't have any currently. Want to go up oil next? Yeah, I think so. I think you know, trust you. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I'm glad you're watching. Really, it's great. I appreciate you bringing questions too. Thank you, man. And just, you know, I hope that we can make some money here, because these are always opportunities. There's always opportunities in the market, and you know, it's now come to an hour. It always goes so quickly. For everybody out there, if you could, I'm trying to build my list for alerts, and so, you know, I'm trying to show my you know, I'm going to show this on the screen, but just for everybody out there on TikTok, it's www.dallastradingfloor.com. And then in the comment section, if you could just put in your name, and then I'm going to produce a stock alerts. I haven't done it yet. I'm still working out the technical details, but this is going to be sort of my watch list for shorting, which I think we're going into a period where we can make some serious money doing that. And again, thank you for everyone. Sorry for the technical issues with TikTok, but thanks for watching today. And I'll be on tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Happy trading. And I hope to see you tomorrow at 11. Again, thanks so much. And here we go. And thank you so much, everybody that's watched me on Periscope and YouTube. Again, the Periscope address is pscp.tv/Dallas Trading Floor. And this is episode number 29. It's April 21st, 2020. We're seeing the market reverse on the spider. And happy trading. Currently, my positions, I'm all cash now, but I did have a short position on the spider this morning, which I closed just for sake of full disclosure. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. And thanks so much for watching. Bye now.